All right, morning and welcome to the final session for our, we are having a preparation for tomorrow's test. And on the other side, we are completing the assignment, which is due, I believe, tomorrow. Okay. I'm hoping that you guys have been able to go through the other parts that we've done so far. All right, we are here at F, doing part F now, calculating the budgeted optimum manufacturing mix per product, which is year 2023. Okay. So once you see us having to do this budgeted thing here, the budgeted optimum mix, this falls under variable costing. This falls under variable costing. So we are picking it up from there. So necessarily we need to calculate our contribution, right? Using the variable costing principle. So this is part number, right? This is part F, required part F, right? Required part F. Right, I believe we're still dealing with the same products that we were dealing with yesterday. So let's put down the same columns there. Should have been bold, and what was the other one? All right, I'm gonna check shortly. It's fine. So we are dealing with 2023 financial year, right? So this is where we are. Right. Okay, this is 2022. 2022. Oh, okay. There probably was a mistake here. I need to check. Sorry. Sorry. I believe this is what we are dealing with now. So this is some of the budgeted information for 2023. This is what we are dealing with now from 1.3. So that's the selling price, prime cost, variable selling and distribution, fixed, etc. So, okay. The labor disputes are expected to have an impact on the available labor capacity. As a result, the management expects to only have 660,000 direct labor clock hours available during 2022. The direct clock labor time per product is expected to be the same as the actual for 2022 financial year. Okay, so ETT has budgeted to produce and sell 12 million, so we don't have opening or closing stock. Cans of energy drink, of which 70% will be boiled and the rest will be neared as a result of labor and material input issues. Okay. The water supply issues are also expected to persist, and Quench informed the DD that they can only supply 80% of the budgeted capacity of the water available. Okay. So that's just about what we have there. All right. So what we need now to calculate here is okay, I need to shift here and connect this. We need to calculate our contribution. And then after getting our contribution, we need to calculate the contribution per limiting factor. So which means we will have to calculate the limiting factor, of course. We need to find out what the limiting factor is. All right. Sorry, I also just woke up like most of you, I'm sure. All right, let's do the calculation. All right, so contribution is obviously going to be selling price minus all our variable costs. Selling price minus all our variable costs. All right. So if you take a look at what we have here, we do have the selling price for both of the energy drinks, and then we are given prime costs, and then obviously variable selling and distribution. And then, so what we basically need to come up with here is the total of our variable costs. So with what's given now, what we don't have is the budgeted labor, but that's obviously going to be included here on the prime cost. Does anyone remember what prime costs entail? What you have on the prime cost? Does anyone remember? What our prime costs have? You people are still speaking.
Isn't it what the conversion cost? That is the direct material and the labor.
Direct material and direct labor. No.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, you are correct there on the prime costs.
On
Perfect.
the prime cost.
Yeah. But remember, the conversion now is direct labor and these overheads here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But anything direct is prime. So that's perfect. So which means what we have here is direct labor and direct material. Né? This is what we have on the prime cost. So if we take our selling price, deduct prime costs, and then deduct the variable distribution costs and deduct the variable manufacturing overheads, that should now give us the amount that we want, which is our contribution, which is very good starting point there. Okay, the other one we said is net. Okay, so selling price, then we're gonna have our variable costs. All right, so what we have on the variable cost, we're gonna start off with our prime costs. Let's put up our prime costs there. And then what else do we have? Variable selling and distribution. Maybe let's start off with the manufacturing ones, like manufacturing overheads. But the format really doesn't matter, né? As long as it's part of the variable expenses, variable overheads is next. So we've done variable overheads and variable selling and distribution. We don't have any. We don't have any left. So that's 1825. Okay, so let's put that there, 18. That's 25. And then our prime cost 675 and 1719. Variable manufacturing overhead 250 and 4 selling and distribution 120, 120. Okay. Right, perfect. Right, let's keep that there. We didn't leave out any costs. We didn't leave out any costs from the looks of things. All right, we can get our total there. So this here is our contribution. So contribution is going to be selling price minus all the variable costs. That's going to give us the contribution. But now this is not going to end there. We need limiting factor now. And then we can then get contribution per limiting factor. And then from there, we can use that to rank the products. And now we need to get the limiting factor. Okay? So we can put that there on I, right? And we can have our rank there, and then production mix. So we'll be deciding how much of bolts we are doing, and then how much of net we are doing based on the ranks that we get there. And then that there is going to be our total. Okay. Calculation. So this is going to be calculation I. Right. So now we need to get what the limiting factor is. So we need to try out all of these, but based on what we see, it's most likely going to be the direct clock hours. But let's try it out and see. Let's try it out and see. All right. Excuse me. All right. So we only have a capacity of, sorry, what we have available is 660 direct clock hours. Yeah. All right. So let's see how that translates to being a limiting factor. Let's say this is direct clock hours. All right, so I believe it's 660. It's required or demand, you could say. Now we need to check what our demand is. So obviously the demand has to be based on what we are budgeting to produce. So we are budgeting to produce and sell 12 million, then of which 70% needs to be bought. All right, so let's start with bold. Bold, we need to produce 70% of 12 million. Now we need to know how much hours are required to produce that 70%. Yeah? And then net. So if bold is 70%, net 30% of that 12 million. Now we need to see how much hours are required to produce that. All right, so let's go up because they say it's the same, right, as the 2022 final, the 2022 actual information, I believe. Right, so done. All right, so this is what we have now. So due to labor strikes and resignations as a result of the wage rate disputes, the company was forced to hire new laborers. So these new laborers had to learn the production process with limited supervision. And then these new laborers took 12 clock minutes for bolts, right? 12 direct labor clock minutes for manufacturing of bolts per liter. Okay. So which means for bolts, they had to take 12 divided by 60 to do a liter, but we are doing 0.25. Okay. So that should just about give us how much time is required there. Right. And then for net,
It's 9 minutes.
right, perfect. For net, we have that 9. So 9 divided by 60, net?
60 times 0.5.
0.5, perfect. Right, so let's have a look and see how much that's going to give us. 0.7 times 12, 103, 103. times 12 over 60 times 0.25. So this gives us 42, right? 0.3 times 12, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times 9 divided by 12 times 0.5. That gives us what? Huge amount. Eh? Let's see if I calculated that correctly. 1, 2, 3.
No, it's 9 over 60, not 9 over 12.
Oh, yes.
9
Right.
over 60.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Now we need to have a total now for these. Yeah. So the total of what's required is the top plus the bottom. So it seems we have a shortfall. Eh? My guess was right. So the shortfall is that minus that. So we have a shortfall of 30,000. Eh? All right. But what we need now, on the calculation has to be the limiting factor then. Eh? So we need to know how much per unit each of those, how much labor per unit each of those consume. Yeah, I think we've done that before, right? So bolts, let's put it this way, bolts, and then we would have net. All right. So per unit each, how much does bolts consume? Then we are basically doing this calculation then. 12 with the price again. Okay, no, not exactly with the price, because it's the hours which are the limiting factor, so not the price. So it's just 12 over 60 times 0.25. And then for net, how much time does it take to make one
9
product?
over 60 times over 60 times 0.5.
0.5. Perfect. All right. So this is the limiting factor. 12 divided by 60 times 0.25. And then here we would have 9 over 60 times 0.5. Okay. So let's take the amounts as they are. So the limiting factor, let's grab it down. So this one is for net, for also for gold. We take that here, and then for net, we're gonna pick it up from there. All right. So ideally, here, okay, there isn't enough time in an exam. So for the usual part, the questions are going to allude to what is the limiting factor. Né? So once that happens, then you basically need to test that one first, so that you don't waste time testing what is not a limiting factor. Né? So you need to be on the lookout for that one there. All right, so what we've done here, contribution per limiting factor, we are dividing that contribution by limiting factor. So this is the amount that you get. Then you want to look for the highest here, and then you rank it as 1, and then the next one is 2. All right, the next one is 2 there. So which means in our production, we basically need to produce first bolt, and then with extra capacity that we have, what are we going to produce? We'll therefore have to produce that the remainder. Né? All right. So the limiting factor, what's the limiting factor? The limiting factor is the hours. Né? The limiting factor is the hours. So at the end of the day, we have a restriction on the number of hours. So let's put that there as, let's put it there, units produced, which is going to be based on the number of hours that we have. So the total hours that we have is what? 660. Né? We are okay with that, right? And then How much hours do we need for bolts? We need 420 for bolts. Right. We are okay with that, ne? So far. Let's okay, let me put lines there. Right. So this is the total number of hours. We are basically restricted to 660. And then based on our rankings here, we know that we need to manufacture bolts first. So bolts is still below 660, so we can put it in full. Yes, it is. Right. So if we're putting that as it is in full, then how many units are we manufacturing for bolts? We are basically doing all. We are basically doing all. So we budgeted to produce 12 million, of which 70%.
70% of the 12.
70% times 12. Ne? So this is the number of units that we are doing there for bolts. Okay. Okay, we put that like that. Okay. And so now we need to check for net. So this is the balancing figure there. These are the hours that we need to do for net. Or these are the hours that we have available for net. Right. So what we need to check now is 240 hours there. How much units can we produce for net? Are we together on that one? Are we together on that one?
Yes, we're following.
You're following.
Yeah.
All right. So given 240 hours, all right, let me do the calculation here. So given 240 hours, and then given that our production for net 1 unit, how much time do we require to produce? Okay, let me write it there. Time required for, let's say time required per unit.
It's 9 minutes.
9 minutes, né? But it's 9 minutes per liter, né? So per unit, it would be 9 divided by 60
times
what?
0.05.
0.05. So this is the time that we require per unit.
And then we divide by the 240 to see how many units we can get in those hours.
In those hours. Let's just say time available. Two 140,
1,000.
All right. So which means what can we produce? It's basically going to be that divided by that, né?
Yes.
So I think we can basically write that down this way. 240 divided. So these are the number of hours that we have available. So if we divide that by the time required per unit,
0.075.
It will basically give us the number of units time that's given 240 123 0.075. So which is what's there anyway. So this doesn't have to be included in the calculation here. It's just an illustration. So in total, this is what we are going to produce. Done.
So we are 400,000 short.
Yeah, it seems that is what it seems now. It looks like. So we took that 400,000 out of the. Unfortunately, we should take it out of net. All right, so done with the question. So ideally, like I said, you might have to test that difference. Since they said even materials short, but we are not exactly given anything on materials. Ne? We are not exactly given anything on materials to work with. Right. But what we have is the 660 there. And then the water shortages are most likely not going to be an issue. This was dealt with on the 80% the last year, the previous year. So I suppose it has been incorporated there. Okay, so we are done with that. Let's look at the variances. No? Let's look at the variances. All right. Let's have a look at our variances. All right, so this is required part E. Calculate the following variances for 2022. Do you think this is easy? What do you guys think?
Not by a long shot.
It's long. I know it's long. So I think difficult. Maybe if you're doing for the first time, it might actually look like the time you realize that there's really nothing difficult on this. All right, so the sales price variance. Anyone remembers the formula for that? Sales price variance. So if it's the sales price variance, obviously we wanna vary the price, make the actual price, compare the actual price against the standard price using an actual quantity. Right. So that's the actual quantity. Let's start off with actual price minus standard price. Right. Am I right on that one? So we are dealing with question E, assume that. So we are dealing with right where we were, I believe. Oh, okay, no, we are still at the top. Okay, we're actually going to the top. All right, the actual information there, actual information. Okay, so let me check again for what product we are dealing this. We're dealing, I believe it's for both products, ne?
Just for Bolt.
Oh, they say just for Bolt.
Yes, just for Bolt.
Wonderful. So if this is just for Bolt, then forward. All right, so Bolt and net actual number of cans sold was 20% lower, so we already have that there. And then company sold Bolt at 20 rands. Okay, so it's gonna be 20 rands. What was our budget? The budget was 17. All right, so we are doing well so far. 20 minus 17. Now we need the actual quantity times. We have a look at what the actual quantity is. So we want to sell 12 million. We want to sell 12 million at a rate of 2 cans for Bolt to 1. Okay, so I think we did this one before. So that's going to be 12 million times 2 over 3.
That's 8,000 against 4.
8,000 against, what does it?
4,000.
Against 4,000.
Sorry, 8 million. You.
All right, so here it's okay, that's fine. So it's gonna be 3 times, we say that one is 8 million.
Yes.
Times 8. So which is gonna give us 24. So is it favorable or adverse? We need
The
to
actual
assess
was
now.
20 and it was favorable.
That's favorable, no?
Yes.
Since
Because it's more than the what's this? the budgeted price.
More than the budgeted price. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So one that's coming next now is sales volume variance for Bolt only. So this is simple again. This is simple again. Please check the formula for me there. What's the formula there? Right. So now this is similar to this, but there's a slight change now because what the variance that we are analyzing is the volume, which is the
It's the
quantity.
volume.
So which means what we have in between has to be the volume that based on the standard price. So like the standard price, and here we can say actual
quantity minus the standard quantity.
Perfect. Standard price we have as 70. Okay. So we can somewhere keep that out like that. So we are multiplying that there by, now we want to go and check out the quantities there from. We want to go and check out the quantities there from our stuff, right? Let me reshare. All right, so the one that we have so far, we do have one already now. Or we can basically choose from this here. Oh, okay. I think, all right.
Which
so
one would be the actual?
Okay, let's just go back a little bit. I think, let me just
to
use
the
it on the actual
quantity.
Right,
Not here.
All right, somewhere
Further up.
20% lower.
Okay.
So we forgot 8% then. All right, let's just incorporate that 8% and times 0.8 there. So which means the other one is not going to be times 0.8. All right, so the correct calculation should therefore read 3 times 12,000 times 2 divided by 3 times 0.8. So that should be 19,200 there. But it's still a favorable. All right. And then when it comes to the quantities, now we know the issue is on
the actual would be 12.
12. Or what we can do, we know that the difference between the actual and the budgeted is the 20% there.
Okay.
Which is that's discrepancy. So we can as well say that times 12 million. Right. And then we are dealing with
times 20%.
20%. Right. Because that's where the difference is. An actual 80% there. All right.
I think we're missing something.
All right. Where?
The AQ, there should be a negative something in the formula. We have one side.
Here.
The 12 times should be minus 12,000 times 20%. I mean 12 million.
Yes. Since the thing is going down, yeah?
No, what I'm saying is the 12 million times 2 over 3 times 20% represents only the AQ. And then where is the SQ? Where is the SQ?
So remember the actual quantity is 80%, then the
Yes.
standard is 100%. So the difference between 100 and 80.
Oh, okay.
So
But
you are right that
now,
it has to be negative because it's reducing from 100% to 80%. So the difference between the actual and the standard is on this 20% there.
20%.
But of which alternatively, how we can again represent this would be something like this. Can be 12 million times 2/3. So this is gonna represent the actual, né?
The actual is
And then the standard is 12 million times 2.
2/3 times 20%.
Now it's 80%. Since they are saying it's 20% low. You understand? Let's check it again, right? Let's check it again there. Yeah, so what was sold is 20% lower. So
Oh,
which means
okay.
the actual quantity
Was 80%. Oh, okay, okay.
So, but what we did now on this one just went all the way just to 20%. There.
Okay,
So
can we
which is
calculate the two and see if we get the same answer?
all right, let's do that. Let me put that under bracket so it becomes an option right there. All right, so on the first one, it's gonna be minus 12, 123 times 2 divided by 3 times
0.2. Okay.
Then on this one, now, because here we started with the actual quantity is this 80%. This one is the budgeted quantity.
Yeah.
So we can start off with budgeted quantity 12, 123. So let's start with the actual so that it's consistent with the formula there. Right, times
Oh, okay,
2.
okay. 2/3 times 8, 0.8 minus
23 times 2/3.
Okay,
amount.
so it should be, oh, okay, I get it now, I get it.
So here the only thing that we should do
Is to move it the other way around.
the other way around. Let's put it as the option on that one since it's so it's consistent with the formula. Ne?
Yes.
So we can basically use any of these. So this is a minus at 1.6 million. Ne?
Yes.
That's 1.6 million. And it seems like it's adverse because we sold less than what we budgeted for.
Yes.
Okay. So we are okay on that one. Ne?
Yes, I'm good.
Perfect. Then on the next one, now we are on the direct material.
Cafe.
That's what happened. All right. That's what happened. All right. So what we need now is we are obviously gonna need a formula for this. Ne? We're gonna need a formula for this one. You remember what the formula is on that one? For
Direct
the
material.
yeah, that's the usage. Direct material. Right. So it's obviously
Wouldn't it be actual quantity into direct material less the standard material?
Yes. the standard price.
The price.
Yeah. You need to put the standard price there. So what happens now if you access this one? Okay, I'm just gonna go back to, okay, we're gonna be searching that from the question. And we said it's actual. So if you assess this one, whenever you're dealing with a quantities variance, you have the standard price on the outside. Then whenever you're dealing with or price variance, then you have the actual quantity on the other side.
So would it be the standard price into the, we need to have the quantities, the actual
quantities.
There's the standard quantity.
Right, so those are the usages that we are dealing with. No?
Okay.
Those are the usages. All right. It's very easy so far. It's fetch that information out. So we are just looking at caffeine for now.
There was 80 milligrams and 70 milligrams somewhere.
That's where the story is. Let's see. Is it this?
The caffeine.
However, 70 milligrams of caffeine was used per 250 ml. Okay, so this is the actual, the 70 milligrams. So we are back on that story again, where there is that
the gram and the
milligram. Right. So our usage was, so we are on 70 milligrams.
But the budgeted was 80.
Budgeted was 80. Well, now we went down to 70. All right.
So what's the price? Is it the price for the full product or the price just for caffeine?
It should be the price just for our cost, the actual cost for that caffeine.
So we're going back to that 186 divided by 100 grams or.
All right. Let's see. Where's the, okay, this is it. Ne? Malt and caffeine. This one, is it this one? Caffeine was budgeted at 169 per gram. Ne?
Per 100 grams. Is it 100 grams?
Yeah.
Can we go back to the question, please?
Oh, sorry, I'm actually on the question. Sorry, I forgot to share that part. Yeah,
okay. So it's 169 per 100 grams. And now the actual quantity used is in milligrams. So we need the 1,000 calculation, the 100,000 calculation.
100,000 calculation. So, all right, let's work it out. So, all right, let's start with the actual, right. Oh, okay, let's start with the budgeted price. So it's, do you want it per milligram or we do it per? We can do
we
it
can
either
change
way.
the milligrams to grams so we don't change the price.
All right. So we don't change the price. So we just keep it at 169 per 100 grams. Yeah?
Yes.
169. Okay. So if it's 169 per 100 grams, the price per gram would 169 divided by 100 if you put it that way. And we can then multiply that by, now we look for
80 milligrams.
All right. It's 8. Is it 8?
Over 100,000 to make them grams.
All right, over 100,000 to make them. Let's start with the actual one. The actual was 70.
It's 70 years.
So let's start with the 70. So we say it's gonna be 70 divided by 100,000.
Yes. Minus the 80.
Minus the 80 divided by
100,000.
So we are gonna go and assess that again from the question. right? We're gonna go back to the question now and assess from there. So now, because we are dealing with net, right? Because we are dealing with net, there's the issue of that 0.5. Right? You remember that?
Yes. Yes.
Of that 0.5. So which means caffeine was budgeted at whatever, and then 80 divided by 100,000. All right, just give me a second, sorry. All right, so it's gonna be, okay, so caffeine was budgeted as 169 per gram. So let's look at the actual usage in terms of grams. Yeah? So we said it's 80 milligrams divided by 100,000. Yeah? So we wanted to convert that to what? We wanted to convert that to
the
grams,
milligrams to grams.
yes, the milligrams to grams.
Yes.
And then this is the requirement per 250 mils. So which means it's ours requires 500 mils, this net. And then but that's the requirement for 200. So that should be times 2 times 2 times 2. But we can write it in full since this is not mathematics, it's management accounting. So this is per 250 grams. So we want 500 for this one. We want 500 for this one times 500 divided by 250. So that's basically the same as multiplying that by. Okay. So that in effect would give us the number of grams that we need to pump inside there into the standard, and then the number of grains that we need to pump into the actual. So we can somewhat do the calculation here. 770 divided by 100,000. It gives us the grams, and then 500 divided by 250 is 2. No? So we can as well write 2 minus 80 divided by 100,000, 23. So that gives us the negative 0.02 there. Right, so this is what this is going to look like now. So 100 divided by, so 169 divided by 100, what does that give us? 1.69. Yeah? That gives us 1.69. And then we are multiplying that 1.
Minus 0.002.
0.002. Right. Dealing with really small amounts. So if we multiply that, it's going to give us times 1.69. That's going to give us minus 0. Dealing with really small amounts now. 0.000338. Right.
It's a negative.
Right. So is this good or bad? This one?
It's bad.
Why?
Because it's a negative. Okay, I'm kidding. Let's see.
Okay, so our actual.
It should be good because our actual is less than our budgeted.
So we basically used less than what we budgeted for.
Yes.
All right. So now we realize now the other reason why we are maybe why we are dealing with a really small number. We can make it big, right? We can actually make this number big. How do we go about that? We can basically deal with the quantities produced, the actual quantities produced. Maybe we should do that so that we avoid dealing with really small numbers, né? Because here we are dealing with the variance per unit, no?
Is
You
variance in
understand?
grams.
Yes, in grams.
The
Per
variance is the
unit.
minus 0.002. If we multiply it then by the quantity and then use the price.
Maybe let's do that. What was our actual what we need our actual production on that one?
Is 12,000 times 1/3 times 80%.
Over 3 times 80%.
Yes.
I think it should be more ideal to do that, no? 12,000, let's see.
12 million, sorry.
Times 0.8 divided by 3. So that's 3.2 again. Oh, okay. This stage is unnecessary, no? One is unnecessary. Let's take that out. All right, so this should be minus 0.000338 times 223. Okay, so this is the variance that we get now. So it's still a negative, so that's gonna be 1.081.0. All right.
So will this be milligrams or this will be grams?
It has to
Savings.
be. Okay.
It should
Sorry.
be
So
the
if
gram savings.
all right. So yeah. It should be the gram. So now I think. Sorry. I think then I misread the question, because if it's the variance in grams only, then we need to take the standard price out. Yeah. We don't need the price for that, because once we put the standard price, it gives us in monetary terms. But the question says we want it in milligrams.
So we go for
In
actual
grams, sorry.
quantity.
So this is okay, and then we just take this part out. Sorry about that. I actually forgot about it. So this is just gonna be, if it's just in grams, then we are merely looking at the grams, 0.02 times 3. So it's gonna be 6,400 grams there.
Because we need to indicate that it's in grams.
It's just grams only. All right. Done with this.
That
So
is
under
a
normal,
saving.
that's a saving. So it's a favorable.
Yes.
So remember from that issue yesterday, we were saying these guys were cheating.
Yes.
All right. So the next one is direct labor efficiency variance. No? Direct labor for both products. So I think with the variances, the big thing is to get the formulas right. No? Once so with variances, once we have our formulas right, only thing that we just have to do there is to put it up there and then to substitute the stuff on the formulas. That's the only thing that's required there. Otherwise, nothing is complicated. Right. So our next one, we are looking at the labor efficiency, né? Direct labor efficiency. And we are dealing with this for both products. So if we are dealing with it for both products, then we should have, let's say, let's put, we normally start with bolts, né? So we can as well put bolts here, and then we want to deal with net there. So we can hit 2 birds with 1 stone. 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. So obviously, if it's labor efficiency, we want to look at actual time minus, want to look at actual time, and then we want to minus that with what we budgeted. And then from there, you can see how efficient we were. Okay. From there, we can see how we were efficient. All right, so let's fetch that information and see. All right, so actual time times standard time, and then we can multiply that by what? Since we are looking at the efficiency, then we can multiply that by the standard rate. We can multiply that by the standard rate. All right, so efficiency, we are basically measuring how efficient we were. Right, we are basically measuring how efficient we were when it comes to our time management. When it comes to our time management. Okay, let's pick this up from, okay, so this is labor cost allowed. So is this is the budgeted, né? This is budgeted, let's see. Right, this is the budgeted information. So
the budget is 30 rands per direct labor clock hour.
Per direct labor clock hour. So we are looking at our usage now in terms of time. Okay. We're gonna have to look at our usage in terms of time. So okay, it was 30 rand per direct clock hour. All right. And then we have 10% idle time that is allowed for that. Né? Then we are looking at what it takes.
10 direct labor clock minutes for bolt and 8 for net.
Okay. Just for a pen, just give me a second. So when we transfer it outside, I don't miss out any information. Let's start with the balls, né?
Okay.
Let's start with balls. Right. So which means if we were allowed 10% idle time for both of these, then which means where we were actually, our actual time in terms of our production would actually be 10% less than whatever is happening there, which is going to be 90% of the time we are working, we are productive 90% of the time.
So would it
would it what?
Would it mean it's gonna be the 10 minutes
All right.
times 90%?
All right. It's 10 divided by 60.
Yes.
Times 0.9.
0.9.
You get the logic behind this because we are doing efficiency variance. So if there's a change in this 0.9%, then it means they are not so efficient anymore. Né?
Yes.
If they have extra.
Oh, okay.
Then again, the issue of that 10/60 is also important,
All
because
right.
it means that if they're longer, they're not so efficient. If they're taking less, they are more efficient. Right. So it's 0.9 again. So that's 0.9. Okay, I'm on the question now. To manufacture 1 liter. So this is to manufacture 1 liter. So Bolt, this does what?
0.25.
Then what was our actual production? It was
The actual was 12 minutes, 12/60.
Let's first check the production rate. Let's first check production. They said they plan to produce 20%. The actual number of cans sold was 20% less. Ne? And then what about 20% less again, but of what? Less of 15 million. Of that 15 million. Let's just see. Our sales is based on 12. So here we need to make a correction. Sorry. We need to make a correction because we base this on sales instead of production. Ne? I think at that time.
Oh, okay.
Our production was still different from our sales. 15 million times 2/3, ne? Oh, sorry, times
Yes.
1/3.
1/3 times 8.
It should be 4 million instead here. 4 million, so which is gonna be 4 million times 0.002. How so? Okay. Oh, okay. So that should give us 8,000. 8,000. It saves to type, ne?
Yes, it does.
Correctly. So which means here it's gonna be 15 million times, we are still on 2/3 with this one, but again we are 80% down. Ne? We are 80% down on that one. And then on net, was
it's
it 8?
8/60.
8/6 times idle time is still applied.
0.5.
5.
15. 1/3. 80.
80%.
Okay. Calculation time. But I think Excel is faster than the calculator.
A lot faster, ne?
Yes.
10 times 0.9 times 0.25 times 15 3 times 2/3 times 0.8. So that's our time. 8/60 times 0.9 times 0.5 times 15 1 2 1 2 3 times 1 divided by 3 times 0.8, 24. Right, so we can as well.
That's the standard time.
Standard time. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Wrong now. Okay, so Bolt is that there, and then
Auto fail.
right. And there we go. All right, now we better deal with
the actual.
This here. So our actual time, so we can start with Bolt. Right.
Wait, in the standard time, aren't we working on the actual budgeted production without the 80%? The 80% is the actual production.
Yeah, we are supposed to work with the actual production, because what we are comparing now is if we gave the standard, guys, let's suppose it's two, like in this instance, it's 2 groups of people that are working the same thing. So we are basically trying to assess if we gave the first group the same amount of products to manufacture, how much time will they take?
Oh, so now the cost, what do they call it in management accounting? I want that management accounting term. Okay, never mind. Okay. We are working on operating hours against the actual production.
Yes.
Okay,
against
now it makes sense.
What these
The
guys
cost driver, there is the term, the cost driver is the working hours.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right.
So now we have 12.
On the actual, is it 12?
12 is over 60 times 0.25.
Okay. What's the idle time? Which first?
It's 5%. It's changed. It's 5%. Yes. I've moved now. I have my 2 screens, so I can help you.
Right. So it's 0.95, no? Times
yes.
0.25 times the same amount, 15.
Yes.
Times
2 over 3 times 80%.
All right. And then for the net, this is gonna be
9 over 60.
So these ones are obviously inefficient. Is it the idle time? Is it still the same?
Yes. 0.5
times 1 over 3 times 80%. All right, so let's calculate it. So this is going to be 12 over 60 times 0.95 times 15, 1 to 3, 1 to 3 times 2 over 3 times.
You missed the 0.25 times 0.25. You can add it at the end.
All right. Perfect. 9 over 60 times 0.95 times 0.5 times 15 divided by 3 times 0.8. Right.
Unfavorable.
Like now. Right. So our actual, yeah, definitely unfavorable. If you look at our actual,
the differences, yes.
Difference stunning. All right.
And the standard rate?
Let's deal with the standard rate now.
Oh, okay. Right, so it's another calculation.
Yeah. Standard rate. So we are dealing with bold, and then we are dealing with net. All right, let's go and look at what our rates were. And
the standard was 30 rands per hour.
30 rands per hour. So now, how do we incorporate the issue of we need to incorporate now the issue of our idle time, no? The issue of our idle time. So here, it cost us 30 rands, the total clock
for
time.
90%, yes.
Yeah, total clock time. So which means if I'm gonna have to recheck this again much later after the class. But my conclusion here is we are supposed to divide the 30 rand by 0.9. 30 rand by
to find the actual production time.
Yeah. The cost
of the actual production cost per hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna recheck that much later. I'm not too sure it's the same here again, eh?
Yeah, is 30 rands for both.
30 rand for both. All right. Sorry, I'm recall. Let me just answer them and tell them I'm in class. Alonzo, ngizokufonela back ne. Ngiseklasini. I'm happy it's not even going through. All right, so this one I'm gonna recheck for us. I'm gonna recheck for us, but for now we will deal with that there.
Okay, let's
All right,
do the
so
division then, so we can move on.
Yeah. 9. I only remember doing this some years back now in 2021. And then now we need the, all right, oh, okay, so we have standard rate, sorry, we calculated the standard rate. 3, let's import it as it is. All right. So what we need to be on the lookout for here is our rounding offs.
Okay.
What I'm doing here, since it's money, I'm putting it at 0.33, but when I multiply this actually gives us the full amount based on 0.333 something. So it's always good to
Please share
calculate.
your screen.
Oh, sorry. Right, we are there now. Ne? So I was saying,
Yes.
this one, it's always good to put rounded off to 2, since that's what you would normally be punching on your calculator. So no need to put it at 0.3.
Oh, okay.
Problem now, when you do it on Excel, it does otherwise. Right. So now, this is our variance here. No? This is our variance here, which is going to be, oh, okay, sorry, I missed the column. Sorry. I missed the column.
For the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use the same column.
Or maybe if we say, if we insert cells, and then we shift these ones to the right. Let's have wanted difference here.
Oh, okay.
Difference, which is gonna be that the actual minus the standard. Okay, and then here again actual minus the standard. Okay, then we can have our variance being difference times the rate.
Standard rate.
Okay.
Is the variance in or in hours?
So this one, now that we've incorporated this rate in dollars, then it's gonna be in dollars now. So this is, let's say this is total variance now.
So it's in monetary
Yeah.
variance, or it's a hours variance?
So this one is in monetary now. So it has to be in monetary, because once they
Or the
incorporate,
difference would be the hours.
yes, the difference
Okay.
is the hours. They're using the same standard rate. All right. So we will check this out. So this one, don't yet write this one. I think I'm not gonna send it yet, because I think now I realize one thing on something that we did here. This here is 30 divided by 0.9. but we haven't incorporated the fact that we are using a different minutes per product. So I think when I give the solution on this, once I confirm this, I'm also gonna incorporate. We are supposed to be having these 10/60s again. We are supposed to incorporate this 10.
Okay. Aren't you supposed to
Because-
multiply the 30 anyway, then divide it by 0.9?
All right, I think I'll check that also. I'm gonna check that for us. I can't remember what we did last time, but you give me, I think, 15 minutes after the class or 10 minutes, I would have found it. So we will need to see, I'll recheck this 30/9 and then incorporate this 12/6 because it can't be the same for both products. The charge is different based on the time that is spent per product. It's not gonna
Because
be the
now we
same.
are finding 90% of 30 rands. It should be multiplying by the 90% than dividing with the 90%.
Dividing with the 90%. Let me put it in red here so I know that I have to change. Or maybe we can watermark it. All right. I'm gonna end this.
All right.
And I'm gonna recheck that one. All right. Let's see on the other one. On the last
All right,
one.
one question, Dando, before we move on. Aren't we supposed to add up that hours column because the question is about the hours, or is it me misunderstanding the question?
This one, okay, when they want it has to be, let me just go back there.
The efficiency is with regards to the monetary value or with regards to the hours used?
It has to be with regards to the hours, but based on a standard rate. It's like on this one,
That's
when
what I'm
they say,
saying.
like here when they say sales volume variance, though we are analyzing the variance, we need to put it in monetary terms based on the standard price.
Okay. Thanks.
So here, if you look at this caffeine, they say caffeine direct materials usage variance and ended it like that. Then we're gonna look at the usage variance and then multiply that by the standard price. But because now they say it in grams only, then that part when they say in grams only, then it's the one that makes us let go of that monetary value. So here they are saying standard variance for work hours. So it's just like them saying the caffeine direct materials usage variance and ending there. So once they just say standard rate variance, then we need to incorporate a standard rate there.
All right. Thank you.
But on the last one, total variable manufacturing overhead variance. So this is another 3 marks on that one. So I'm just gonna recheck that one before I resend in the group. You see, next time it would have been nice if I had all your email addresses and then I'll share the document with you so that whenever I do an edit on the document, you can pick it up on your site straight up. That would have been very nice, actually. It would have been very, very convenient for us. Okay, I think I've got someone on the waiting room here. That actually would have been very nice. When is the submission again for this thing?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow what time?
At 4. Let me check my board here. Just 1 second. No, it's 4.
I don't know why.
9 p.m.
Okay, and tomorrow we are actually going to be writing a test with the other guys.
So we need to finish this one today.
Yeah, this one we'll definitely finish today. one will definitely finish today. All right, so now we are on our
Total variance, manufacturing overhead.
Manufacturing overhead efficiency. Right. So now we need to check. So it's an efficiency. It's an efficiency issue. So because this is right, so because this is an efficiency issue, we are basically dealing with the machine hours. We are basically dealing with the issue of machine hours. So let's go straight up again and see what the issue is there on the machine hours. All right, so variable manufacturing overhead costs are allocated on the machine time used for each product. Then variable manufacturing, are we doing for both products? Let's see. Right.
Yes, for both.
Right, so the recovery rate is 12 rand per hour, and it takes 12 minutes to manufacture a liter of that. And then the machine capacity is budgeted at that. Let's look at what was the actual, what happened with the actual. Okay, so the rate went up
1.2.7.
1.2.7, and then we were on 15 machine minutes now. We were on 15 machine minutes. All right, so let's look at actual hours, and then we deal again with the budgeted hours. Okay. All right, okay, let me just share the screen. All right, so we can pretty much do it like what we did here. Let's copy that down there. So let's start with the budgeted. Right. With the budgeted hours. All right, so our budgeted hours in terms of
it's 1 million.
All right. And again, it's that, and then we are incorporating, we said it's 12 minutes.
Yes, it's 12 minutes.
All right, 12 minutes. Then we're multiplying at 12 minutes. So this 12 minutes manufactures a liter.
Yes.
And we are doing
0.25.
All right, then we need to know now what was our actual production.
Yes.
This is our actual production. That's there. Times 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, times 2/3 times 80%. All right. So maybe here, maybe the appropriate thing to write would be budgeted hours based on actual units. It would make more sense if we write it like that. Right, what about for net? Still 12/60 times 0.5 times 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times 1 divided by 3 times 80%. All right, let's do the calculation there quickly. 12 divided by 60 times, okay, am I doing the right thing here? A new cell, yeah. 12 divided by 60 times 0.25 times 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times 2/3 times 0.8. All right, so we have that there. 12/60 times 15, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 3 times 0.8. Right. We have that there. right, so we can as well. So let's put that as, let's put our budget as
standard.
then.
Budgeted.
All right. So this is bold. All right. So that one is that. Now we need the actual there.
Is gonna be.
All right. So for bold, did it move up to 15?
Yes, 15.
All right. Times 0.25 times 15 times 2 over 3 times 80% equals, then for net.
No, sorry. For bold, it was manufactured at the standard merchant time, but the change is only for net.
Changed only for net.
Yes.
We corrected this yesterday.
Yes, we did correct it.
Times 15 times 1 divided by 3 times 80%. Okay.
So for both, we'll have the same answer.
Same answer there. All right. In there, it's going to be 16 over 60 times 0.5 times 15 million 123 divided by 3 times 0.8. Right. So there we have a slightly different one. Right. So this is the same, and then this one is different. It's that amount there. Okay.
And then we have the difference.
The difference, which is going to be 0. Let's carry that down there. Right.
And then the rate.
Right. So now, because we are dealing with the efficiency rate, then we need to use the standard.
Is 12 rands per hour.
All right. Let's do the standard rate. So I think I would like to incorporate that, which I said I wanted to incorporate on that one. So it's 12. How much is 12 rands per hour? Ne?
Per hour, yes.
Per hour, but to manufacture. Oh, okay.
0.25.
All right. Okay. All right. It's fine. Let's say 0.25. You know what I want to incorporate here?
Yeah.
Let's see if it's, we're looking at hours there. Looking at hours. I know it's fine. So if we're looking at hours, let's keep it at 12. The standard rate is the same, no?
Yes.
So the logic is these here is the difference of hours. So which means we need to look at a rate in terms of hours again.
Okay.
Variance. So which means an hour there at the end of the day, it costs an hour there. They said it's consistent. All right. Then the variance is going to be that there. And then, right. We have our total there. So now, is it favorable or is it adverse? Is it favorable?
It's unfavorable. We produced, okay, we use, let's see, how many zeros here? 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5.
So our actual hours were less than our budgeted hours in terms of our overhead. So which makes this one favorable.
Okay,
because
my question is, how can they be favorable if we used 15 minutes to produce 1 unit against the budgeted, which is 12 minutes to produce one unit.
To produce one unit. Okay, I hear you.
The actual, we took longer to produce the units.
We took longer to produce the units, and then there 15 over 60 times 15 million times divided by 3. Okay, yeah, it's adverse actually. Sorry about that. It's adverse. But I'm still trying to see now. I hear your logic, because now we took 15 minutes and the cost, or I know minus the cost, we are not considering the cost here, but we basically took more time on that one.
Yes.
So let's see what's on this calculation. 12 over 6 divided by.
Oh, we missed the 0.5 in the calculation.
Oh, yeah. 0.5. Good.
There we go. Then it's favorable.
Yeah, now it's making sense. So which means now we have.
But why is it favorable when we're taking longer?
No, it's fine. Now it's adverse because you can see our actual cost is bigger than our budgeted cost. So it makes sense.
Oh, this is the cost. Okay, not the production. Yeah. Now it makes sense.
All right. I think I'm going to have a class starting in the next 5 minutes. So I think the only question that we have left now, I'll need to recheck this one here, this issue on this 0.95 and this 0. And that other 0.9, 0.9. And then the only other question that we have left is another straightforward one. I'll recheck on the previous papers where we did that one.
The draft.
Yeah. So on this one here, comment on whether or not the shortcut method is applicable in calculating the quantity. So here, the answer is there on the static guide. This one here. The circumstances where we use the shortcut method. So the answer for that one.
Google it.
Yeah, I'll Google it. And then here, non-financial measures that can be used to evaluate the performance in terms of efficiency in the manufacturing process. So here we're looking at any other non-financial measure, right? So here you could even incorporate, remember those non-financial ratios, maybe looking at staff turnover, things like those, you see. Because sometimes we are saying you might meet the financial targets, but what happens if it's at the expense of people leaving the job, staff morale is down, you see, those things. So we are basically looking at non-financial aspects on that one. So I think I'm gonna incorporate this there. And then the one that I left out is, okay, I think it's somewhere here, no? Calculate, oh, okay, it's here, the memorandum, no? The commenting on calculation. So this is just
which calculations are those?
So it's this one here, this calculation.
Oh, okay.
Is the calculation. So we are basically commenting on the correctness of that. Let's see if we need to provide any, right? We need to provide correct workings for that. Review the working errors, omissions, and where applicable, provide the correct workings. All right. So which means for every point, if there's something that we think is wrong, then we provide correct calculation. If there's something that we think is right, we leave it at that. Okay. So that I'm gonna do soon after this class, this coming class.
Okay.
So you should get this by 11. I think I'll be done by 11. All right.
All right, thank you.